Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Ride Mechanic channel. Thanks for joining me today. Alright, welcome back. This is my Top Thrill 2 update video number 2. I put out yesterday's video. Yesterday's video was more of like an all call. I put the information down I had. I'm like, hey, what do other people know? Because I wanted to get more information. And you guys responded in a big way.
Now get ready. Here we go.
So on today's video, we're going to be looking at the information that I've got now, put more pieces together, corroborated some stuff, and got some other information out there. So let's look into that right now. Okay, so yesterday the first thing I brought up was the cables. It's like, okay, we found out that the cables are in fact climbing cables, which means they're used to rappel down the side of the structure. So here is a picture that was sent to me. This is them rappelling down the structure here, and they're working in an area, I believe it's right here is where they're working. So a lot of times, you can't hang cables directly above where you're working. You have to rappel down and then kind of like walk yourself over to a different area. What they are doing, the whole reason for this is that they did in fact have a crack on the structure that they had to go up there and repair. Okay, so here's a multi-picture that I got from Cedar Point Connoisseurs. It's basically them working on the tower. And now what I've also had is you guys have all contacted me and said, yes, crane showed up Friday night. They've been working on it Friday night and Saturday night. So there is a crane necessary for this sort of stuff. A lot of rides, when they need welding, they don't do that. They might be able to use a man basket or on a lift or something and get up and weld on the structure. But you got to remember, Top Thrill 2 is, where they're welding is up close to the 400 foot mark, right? Or even like the 300 foot mark. It's right around that area. So working at those heights is incredibly hard to do. You need lots of infrastructure to support you. You need cranes to lift equipment up. 300 feet of welding lead sucks. You don't want to do that. So, I mean, they probably used a crane and a man basket to get people up to work right next to where the joint was cracked and grind that back out and make a repair. You can see here, this is the area where they're working, and then here's the next closer up of this area, and then right here is a real close-up of the area. Not the best resolution. Again, take what you can with these pictures. So this is the area I was really interested in seeing. So here is this area up close, and basically you can see the ladder here. Now this is a kind of a weird looking photo because it is shot at an angle, and what you think is right there, it's not. It's actually really far in the background. So what you're seeing here is that you obviously on the right hand side you've got the track right here, and then you've got the vertical pole, the vertical spike support leg that it's connected to, and then way off in the background this is actually the back A-frame way back there. This ladder here is what they use to climb up, and then this part is way in the background. So we can try to locate this on the tower. It's kind of tricky to do, but if you see they're right at this, there's two red segments and a white segment. It's like they're all like that. It's like, hear me out. Two red segments and a white segment. So if you count the rungs right here, basically two rungs down and there's a support that's linking the track. And then you count down from there, go 1, 2, 3, and then there's a flange on this column. So if we take this picture here, this is from Amusement Park Portal. When I was just Googling stuff, this came up. And if you look down here, you could see here's the white sections right here. And you could see, well, 1, 2 down, there's a flange, or there's a supporting column, but there's no flange. Down right here, there's a supporting column at the 1, 2, but then there's the flange right next to it. And then down right here, there's a supporting column, 1, 2, and then there's the flange, 1, 2, and then 3. So this is the area where that picture was taken. See if I could position this in both ways. So these are the two pictures right next to each other. Hopefully I can get this all in one shot. Basically what you're seeing here is that this is the area where the picture was taken, and it's taken from an upward angle So basically, the camera's off over here somewhere. I'm assuming it's a really, really good lens. And they have zoomed way in, and they have shot this area right here. And what you're looking at is right here in the background, this connection right here at this joint. This is where this is. There's a bunch of lifting straps and stuff sitting there, which I'm imagining is for getting equipment and things like that up there to do welding and grinding. And this is also the spot, when I was talking with some of you guys about this, this is also the spot where you guys said, yes, Friday, Saturday, around in that area, they had drones inspecting the tower around this area. So this is right where the tower bends right there. See, there's the bend in the tower. The next section up is where this crack was. Now the ride has continued operation today. Someone said, hey, there's a live webcam there. I honestly didn't know about that. It's pretty cool. I tuned into the live webcam, and first thing I saw, as soon as I turned into it, I was like, oh yeah, there's the structure. That's pretty cool. You could just see that. And then I saw a train go up, and then it rolled back. And I was like, that's funny. I just happened to be recording that one because I was like, hey, this is cool. Not on this computer, so I was just using my phone to record it. But I was able to see that. So I was watching it kind of in and out for a good chunk of the day. I would tune in every once in a while and see what it was. And basically they were testing it, it looked like, for the majority of the day. And then towards the afternoon, it looks like they opened it up and started running people on the ride, which is great. I'm glad to see that that's back open. Here's a picture that was sent to me from, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to murder this name, J. Ducharme? I'm sorry. I murder names. Absolutely sorry about that. But this is a real nice shot of the back area. And basically, right here, this is where they were working, right here on this particular part of the tower. And it's this leg right here. This is where it's messed up. That's where they had the crack, the indication on it anyway. So it's no surprise that the ride was shut down. And they're like, okay, we've got to get up there and repair that crack. So they got up there probably with the guidance of Zamperla and said, okay, this is what you need to do to make the repair. Now, I know a lot of people are going to jump on this and be like, hey, what, Zamperla doesn't know what they're doing. That's always what everyone says. Zamperla doesn't know what they're doing. It's like, yeah, Zamperla knows what they're doing. You got to remember, this is still a new ride. Like today I was watching it, they were testing it in the morning time, and it looked like it was just fault after fault after fault. It looks like they were able to run like 3 trains, and then like always on power, always on the swing 3, which is the power swing. Swing 3, the train would go out there, and then you could see it slow down, and then it would go 3/4 up the front tower, and then roll back on itself. So they know what they're doing, but this is a massive ride. It's huge. And just everything you do with massive rides, everything has to be bigger. When you have to go repair a crack, it's not as simple just go up there and grind it out like you would on pretty much any other structure. It is a big process to get up there and drag everything up there. I don't know if Cedar Point has 350 feet of welding lead they could string out to get up to someplace like that. Probably do, but man, can you imagine the weight of like a number 2 welding cable, 2 of them strung all the way up the side of the tower? That's got to be 1,000 pounds right there by itself. So there's logistics of getting equipment and making repairs. So when this ride breaks down, it really, really breaks down. It's like, well, why did the tower crack? It's like, we don't know why the tower cracked, but we know at this point that the tower cracked. It's not a big deal. Rides do that. Lots of rides do it. I know everyone says, well, B&M, it's like B&Ms crack apart like crazy. They do. They crack all over the place. They crack in the track rails. They crack in the connecting beams. They crack in the trains and the frames. Like, you name it, they crack there. They do. But when you have a smaller ride, like a B&M that's only 150, 250 feet high, they're really easy to repair because you just go grab your normal stuff you have and go out there and you make the repair and it's done. You could do it overnight. No one's got to be any wiser to it. No pomp and circumstance. No nothing else. But when you have a repair 400 feet in the air to make, you need a lot more to it. So other things crack. When X2 was brand new at Magic Mountain, I remember every Tuesday they ended up having to shut the ride down for maintenance because the trains needed extended maintenance because they were breaking all sorts of stuff on the trains, and the entire lift hill was cracking apart. The entire lift hill, everywhere. All over the chain trough, that whole lift was cracking apart everywhere. Every Tuesday they had to shut the ride down and go make weld repairs, train repairs, everything else. Rides breaking apart when they're new is nothing new. It's ordinary. Like, yeah, there's plenty of rides that don't do any of this. Yes, that is correct. But there are lots of rides that do this. I put an RMC together, right? The restraints went bad opening day. Opening day, the restraints went bad. It's like, had to shut all the RMCs down in the system because of that, right? They fixed it. They got their problems fixed, but it had a ripple effect. So it's like, yes, new rides do new stuff. The same RMC, we had 20 feet of track left over. Huh? Yeah, we had 20 feet of track left over that we ended up not putting in the ride. Yeah, things happen. Canada's Wonderland, they're putting that together with that Premier track. Flanges and stuff aren't lining up. Bolting patterns aren't lining up. I've put together a Premier ride before. That's normal. Yeah, that happens. And guess what? Once you get the stators and stuff running, those things typically fault out because you have a set of stators that starts overheating somewhere. And it's like, oh man, why are these things overheating? You have all sorts of components that could fail, that could be bad right off the bat. New rides typically suck to maintain the first 4 or 5 months of operation. And you got to remember, Top Thrill 2 is only in the first couple of weeks of its operation. It hasn't passed that point. Yes, it's 2 years old, but they didn't run it for that whole time. So they didn't really get to proof out the system and get all the little electrical gremlins and stuff like that taken care of. So I don't care which manufacturer it is, whether it's a Zamperla, B&M, Intamin, S&S, like I don't care which manufacturer it is difficult to build these rides. They are extreme machines that operate in the extreme circumstances, the outer envelope of that. They are not easy to build. They're not easy to maintain. Got to give these guys some slack, okay? This is a very high-profile ride. Everyone's watching it like a hawk. Yes, a lot of people don't agree with the decisions that were made around it, but that is the company's decision. Six Flags decided to do that. That's their thing. Six Flags, Cedar Point, Cedar Fair, whatever you want to call it. That's their thing. Let them do it. Let them do Six Flags. And then we're going to be there just to support it. I mean, I'm going there in a couple weeks. I can't wait to get there and ride this ride. Hopefully, I can get on this ride. I would love to get on Siren's Curse too, but that opens up like 4 days after I visit. But oh well, it'll still be fun. If nothing else, I get to visit Cedar Point and go on the other rides if this one's not available. No matter what, every park I go to, every time I say I want to ride something, when I go to a park, it's always caveated with the if it's working. Because I know it happens. Been there myself, I've promised people, yes, I'll have this working, and it never opens up the rest of the day. By the way, for confirmation of the crack, this was posted by, they say, a mechanic from the park. Little grain of salt, we don't really know, right? But they say it's a mechanic from the park. Says, since I've been there, a lot of our mechanics have had issues with the ways management wants us to inspect certain rides. Right off the bat, this article is entering into a pissing contest between maintenance and management. It's a common thing. It happens all the time. See where it goes. Now that our union guys are finally standing up for us, many things are changing and getting closer looks. With this, there was a decent-sized crack found around a support post on the spike. That's the only reason we had a crane on site for the welders to address the crack, and found once they finish the fix, the state okays it, the ride should be back into operation, which was today. The ride went back into operation. Our crew of guys are very good at working with what they have. They've been doing their best to address it and keep the ride running for our guests. Absolutely. So this is the day. We repaired the ride. It cracked. We repaired it. Sounded like the state had to okay the repair. and probably the repair was sanctioned by Zamperla. So they sanctioned the repair, they execute it, state okayed it. I'm assuming it had to be NDT'd, another reason for the crane, because you got to get the NDT guys up there to inspect it as well. NDT being non-destructive testing. Sounds like a basic repair with a couple jabs at management there. Okay, so it wasn't really bad. You could execute this repair a number of ways. Honestly, the standard repair, D1.1 repair, you go up there, you grind the crack out, the indication out until it's gone, and then you give it a little bit of preheat, fill it up with, typically it's 70-18, you fill it up and lay it all the way out, and then you can't put more than typically 10 to 15% reinforcement cap on top of the weld, grind the starts and stops so it's nice and smooth on both sides, and then you wrap it in duct tape so no one sees it. No, typically you paint it. You paint it over with some rust inhibitive paint primer and then some paint on top. Give it a bunch of layers of paint so it's nice and thick. Ride paint is very thick. It's got to withstand all the weather for many years. Thin paint is typically what rusts out first on a ride. All right, so I think that's it for this wrap-up. Okay, we found out cables were there for climbing stuff. The ride did in fact have a crack in the upper support outer leg right where it bends at a roughly, like a 30-degree angle. And they went out there, fixed it, NDT'd it, put it back together. The ride's back into operation. This was good stuff. The ride's up and running too. Yeah, it sat down the weekend, but that's kind of what you have to do sometimes with these things. Really good. Good job, guys. Good repair. Good job to everybody. All right. I think that's going to do it for this video. I'm Ryan the Ride Mechanic. Stay off the air gates.